right, Ashlyn, get out your math book and open it to page 100. Actually, don't even open it yet. Just let me show you something first, okay? All right, so when we have the fractions, I'm going to show you two fractions. So on this fraction, on that circle, I have 1/2 colored in. On this circle, I have 2/4 colored in. But do you see how those 2/4 is basically just 1/2 if we were to take that middle line away? It would just be 1/2. So 2/4 equals 1/2, or 1/2 equals 2/4. They are equivalent fractions. Do you see the word equal in equivalent? Equival. So equal. So when we have equivalent fractions, that means they equal the same thing. So when you reduce your fractions, you're writing the same answer, you're just writing it a different way. Because 2/4 reduces 2. 2 can go into 4, so that would be our greatest common factor. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So they equal the same thing when you're reducing your fractions. So today we are going to simply talk about making equivalent fractions. And then you will use equivalent fractions to start doing something else with your fractions, which I think you will like doing. All right, so if we look up here, if you look at page 135, go ahead and get your book now and open it up. We're going to start at section A. It says write equal for equivalent fractions, and this is the not equal sign, not equal for unequivalent fractions, okay? So if we have the fractions 3/8, this is letter A, 3/8 and 6/16, we have to think, is there any number, same on top and bottom, that can be multiplied by to equal 6/16 from 3/8. Now stop right there, halt a minute, let me remind you of something. Remember, 2 over 2 equals 1. 3 over 3 equals 1. 100 over 100 equals 1. When our numerator and denominator are the same, it just means 1. Remember, when we multiply a number times 1, it equals itself. 7 times 1 equals 7. 8 times 1 equals 8. 1,000 times 1 equals 1,000. Okay, so whenever we multiply by 1, it equals the same thing. So that's why we can multiply. If we look here, 8 can go into 16 2 times, and 3 can go into 6 2 times. So they multiply by 2 over 2 to get 3/8 equals 6/16. So those fractions are equivalent. So you would write the equal sign underneath. Look at the next ones. We have 4/7 and we have, where's it at? 8 over 21. So they multiplied 7 times 3 to get to 21, but does 4 times 3 equal 8? No, it does not. So those are not equivalent. They do not equal, okay? They weren't multiplied by 1. On the next ones, we have 3/4 and 6/12. So let's see. 4 times 3 equals 12. 3 times 3, that's our 1 here. 3 times 3 equals 9. So those are not equivalent fractions. They have to equal top and bottom to be equivalent. And then letter D, we have 2/5 and 4/10. So 5 times 2 equals 10. 2 times 2 equals 4. So they multiplied by 1 and they got 4/10. So those are equal. They are equivalent. So number 2, we're going to write an equivalent fraction for each. And this will be easy Because when we write equivalent fractions, we can, and they don't tell us, they don't give us a numerator or denominator to start with, then we can multiply the numerator and denominator by any one that we want. 2 over 2, 5 over 5, 6 over 6, 10 over 10, whatever we want. Just so that we are multiplying by 1 to make our equivalent fraction. So 2a, we have 2 thirds. So let's say we're going to multiply it by 1 in the form of 10 over 10. 2 times 10 equals 20. 3 times 10 equals 30. We just made equivalent fractions. It's that easy. Let's look at 4 over 5. This time let's use our 1. Let's make our 1 be 5 over 5. So we have times 5 over 5. So 4 times 5 equals 20. 5 times 5 equals 25. 5 over 5 is our 1 we multiplied by. We just made equivalent fractions. 3 over 7. Let's just use 3 over 3 as our 1. Put our 1 up there, times 3 over 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 7 times 3 is 21. We made equivalent fractions. And our last one, 2 ninths. Let's make our 1 be 4 over 4. And you don't have to put the times 4 over 4 or times the 3 over 3 or the 10 over 10 or the 5 over 5. I'm just writing it right now so that you, understand what I'm doing. If you can do it without writing those, the 5 over 5 or the 4 over 4 or 10 over 10, then you can do it without writing it, okay? So 2 times 4 equals 8, and 9 times 4 equals 36. We just made equivalent fractions, okay? So now, looking down at section 2, it says write the number that should be put in the place of the x to make the fractions equivalent. First, decide what number was used to multiply the denominator to get to the new denominator. And that's pretty much exactly what I've been showing you, especially the first time that we started. So if we have 1 over 3 equals blank over x, and they're telling you to make equivalent fractions, you're going to say, what did we multiply 6 by? 2. Write your 2 up here. 1 times 2 equals 2. You just turned that into an equivalent fraction. If we have 4/5 equal blank over 20, what did we multiply 5 by to get to 20? 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16. We just made equivalent fractions. If we have 3 over 5 equals x over 15, what did they multiply 5 by to get to 15? They multiplied it by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Boom. We just made equivalent fractions. 1/2 equals blank over, where am I at? I lost my place. Over 8. What did we multiply 2 by to get to 8? 4. So we multiply our numerator by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 4/8. And then letter E, 1 over 4 equals blank over 12. 4 times what equals 12? 3. 1 times 3 equals 3. 3/12. We just made equivalent fractions. So that was our lesson for today. You are going to complete your live worksheet on your computer.